Good morning, dear friends. My name is Elijah Meru, and I wanted us to share a little bit today about a very interesting subject: fake friends. You know, every one of us has got some friends, but what we have also fake friends. People who pretend to be our friends and in reality are not. And here I want to say that we must be aware of this kind of people because they are very dangerous. They're even more dangerous than enemies. But before we continue, who is a friend? A friend is someone who has a bond or a tie with someone, a person with whom you have some mutual affection. That's who you would call a friend. Someone you can, a confidant, someone you can trust, someone you can speak to, someone when you have a problem you can share the problem, someone you can run to, you know. That's a friend. That's somebody you know that when they have problem they can come to me. When I have problem, I can come to them. I can go to them. That is who we call a friend. And everyone in life needs a friend. Because the life we live in, we need someone when we are happy and we can share that happiness, that joy with them. When we are in trouble, that we can share with them, they can give us a shoulder to lean on when we have problems. But as I'm saying here, fake friends are dangerous, are even worse than enemies. Who is an enemy then? An enemy is a person who is actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. Someone who is actively opposed. Someone who is actively hostile to you. The Cambridge Dictionary defines an enemy as someone who hates or opposes another person and does everything they can to harm that person or stop them from achieving or doing something. Dictionary.com defines a fake friend or an enemy for that matter as a person who feels a hatred. They hate you. That person hates you sometimes for no reason. They feel bad. When they see you, they just feel like crushing you, That's an enemy. An enemy. Someone who hates you. Someone who doesn't feel good when he sees you succeeding in life. Now, the danger with today is that most enemies know that if they come to you as enemies, if they come to you branding the picture of an enemy, of course, it doesn't matter how weak you are, you will defend yourself. You understand? You'll try and do everything you can to protect yourself. These days, hypocrisy demands that many people talking about nations, talking about relationships, individual relationships and other kind of relationship, many people present themselves to you or to us as friends, but in reality, they are just fake friend. And a fake friend is nothing but an enemy. And now, what this enemy does, because we are talking about a mutual friend, somebody who has a mutual affection, somebody you can share something together. Now, if you are not aware that somebody who presents himself as a friend is your enemy, because sometimes we can't really know what is in the hearts of other people. We can't really, we sometimes we rely on the few words that they tell us. They tell us how they are friends, how they care about us, how they care about our kids, how they care about our business, how they care about this and that. But the problem is, unless you are aware, or unless you can read from the behaviors of these people or of this person, eh, you cannot be you not be aware of knowing if they mean really what they say, if they are really friends or they are just enemies pretending to be your friends. And I'm saying that many people have lost their lives, many people have lost everything they had, many people became useless and nothing because they trust other people. And when somebody comes to you as a sheep, while in reality is a dog or a hyena, then it becomes dangerous. And I was giving an example of someone who wanted to visit a particular country, but dogs were not allowed to enter that country. Now, what this person did, because he knew that his dog would not be allowed to enter that country, what he did, he killed a sheep and took and took that skin of the sheep, put it on a dog, and made it so well so that you think when you look at that dog, you just think it is a sheep. And so he mixed up that sheep coat among other sheep. And then when he wanted to move, he moved. And when he arrived at the immigration service, then the immigration looked, okay, you have this number of sheep and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But while the immigration officer was attending to this person, he realized that one of his sheep was behaving differently. And he wanted to know more. And then he approached that sheep and realized that this sheep is behaving not really as a sheep, but as something else. And then he decided to separate it from the others. And as he was separating it by force, then the dog, because it was a dog, then he realized it made that voice of a dog, and then that's it. Then he realized that it was not a sheep, but it was a dog. Some people would come to us with the skin of something else, but in reality, they are dogs. They are hyenas. They are lions. They are cheetahs. If you want to know, there is a good example in the Bible of Judas Iscariot. That Judas all these days have been with Jesus Christ, and he has moved around with him. But I can recall that one day there is this prostitute woman who came with some wonderful, expensive perfume and started pouring that perfume on the feet of Jesus Christ. And then Judas Iscariot was very angry. Some say because he was a cashier, he loved simply money. But some would just say that, a person with bad intention cannot hide those intentions for a long time. And that's what I was saying, that you need to look at the historical facts of a particular person who confesses as they are your friend. See if these people have always been your friends, or if these people have always been showing you as your enemies, have been presenting themselves as enemies by what they do. Because sometimes our actions speak louder than our words. And even words, sometimes you cannot hide you are feeling for a long time. You can hide it for some time, but after some time it will just blow out. That's how Judas, when he saw that woman pouring that oil or that perfume on the feet, he started complaining. He said, this perfume, if it could have been taken and if you could have given us this perfume, we could have taken it to the market and sell it and get some money, and that money could have been used to help poor people. As if in reality, as if indeed he was caring about poor people. He was not, but he was just feeling bad. He was just feeling not well that someone could do something good to this man whom he hated, even though he was his disciple. Sometimes people might be around us. We think that these people love us, but these people are just around us because of what they expect to get from us. And once they get it off, they are gone. And that's how you need sometimes to trust your gut feelings. Because sometimes if you live with somebody or you have somebody around you and every time they are around you feel uncomfortable, despite all the promises and all the things they say they do, and sometimes they do even some few stuff here and there to try and prove to you that they love you, But in reality, when you feel sometime that somebody is around you and every time they are around you not feeling really that peace of mind, you need to be aware of this kind of people, because then when they come closer to you, then they have an opportunity of studying you, then they have an opportunity of knowing you. Going back to the story of Judas, the love of money is the source of every evil, and I think we'll talk about this. And this is what we can see happening even on the continent of Africa, that sometimes even our leaders are ready to sell us just for some few dollars. They are ready to engage in some strange deals. At the end of the day, children are born and are put into some kind of awkward situations simply because our leaders were not proactive, or simply because they trusted the so-called friends who come with a skin of sheep, but inside there's something else. There are wolves. There are hyenas. There are lions who are just waiting for a moment to strike and finish you. And that's why I'm talking about the continent of Africa, and I'm saying if we continue doing things the way I'm seeing, in 100 years, perhaps we will not have even an African alive. An African with a skin like mine here. Because despite all the warnings of people around the world, of well-wishers, people with well intentions, from all other colors, from all parts of this world, telling us how our lives are in danger, we can still see our leaders, our Judases, going in bed with our enemies and doing exactly the opposite of what we expect them to do. That's why I'm saying a fake enemy is very dangerous. Is dangerous even than an enemy. And a story of Samson and Delilah gives us this clear picture of what a fake friend can be. Samson, who is there fighting with the Philistine, he has done so many damages and have done so many things against these people because they were fighting the nation of Israel, and he has been put there by God to fight and to defend the nation. But when he went there, I don't know what happened. He saw this woman and he fell in love. And they tell us like love is blind. I don't trust that. Don't believe in it. Love should have eyes. You should be able to see for yourself and to love that which you see. Because if you are blind, when your eyes will be opened and realize that the person you thought you were in love with is not the same, then that's where the problem starts. He took this woman, went with him in his house to his country, and made her his wife. Now this woman, everything she was doing was trying to find out where the secret of the strength of this man. And this is what I'm talking about, enmity. That this guy thinks that he has somebody who has a bond with him, that he has somebody who has a mutual affection with him, that he has somebody who loves him in reality. Perhaps indeed Samson really loved this person. You know, as you might be, you are just genuinely in love with somebody. But you need to be aware, you need to know, you need to find out to know if that same person, if that person you are in love with is also in love with you. And if their love is genuine. You see, this woman came into the life of Samson not because she loved him. I think even when they were in bed doing whatever they had to do there, she was just there performing her duty towards achieving that which brought her in the life of this guy in the first place. But this guy, because his love was blind, didn't give a damn. And then for several times this woman tells her, if you really love me. You see, this conditional love is sometimes complicated. Somebody who claims that they love you, but they are always giving you conditions. You know, you must do this, you must do that, you must do this. If you don't do this, I don't know, because for her, she wanted this guy to prove, to do extra stuff, you know. And as she wanted the guy to do so many things, she was doing nothing. And the first time the guy tells her, no, you know, if you take my hairs here and blah, blah, blah. And then once she has done exactly what Samson has said, she gives a call to her people. The people come and they attack Samson. But because he was strong and he has lied to the woman, then he wakes up again and defeats them. Not once, not twice, not thrice. But Samson, because he was blind, and because he was naive, I would say, even though he was called of God, he never learned any lesson. Could we learn lessons by studying the behaviors of people who claim that they love us? If you can see somebody for hundreds of years have done nothing but hating you, somebody who has done nothing but harming you, somebody who history has shown that these people do not love you, and everything that they do is to harm you. Everything they do is to do some. When they talk to you, they tell you, our friend. Elijah is our friend, you know. But everything that they do to you, to your children, to any person who's associated with you, is harming them. And that every time they get an opportunity of taking away what belongs to you, they do it. And yet you continue trusting these people as friends because they tell you they are friends. They send even sometimes their children or some people in your house And you realize that at the end of the day, that person who was sent to you with a beautiful name, a helper, blah, 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 at the end of the day, they leave you while they have already harmed you. Samson never learned any lesson until he was able to give the secret. And mind you, fake friends are patient. Fake friends can take time. They can take years. They can take months. They can take decades until they are sure that they get what they want from you. And once they get it, they destroy you, my friend. That's why I'm saying be aware of fake friends. That's why we have eyes but we can't see. We have ears but we can't hear. When the writings are clear on the wall, we can't still read. You know, when somebody keeps on intimidating you, keeps on giving you ultimatum, keeps telling you, you to show to them this or that. Where there is true love, you don't have to show it. And somebody who loves you does not want to give you conditions for whatever they give you. They give you whatever they want to give you, that's it. Somebody, when you are with them, they pretend that they are like good friends. And when they go outside there, when they're talking to other people, when they're speaking to other people outside there, whatever they say about you is totally different from what they tell you in presence. And you keep on trusting them that they are friends. Whose mistake it is? It's your own. It's difficult to really know before the enemy has harmed you now, before they have realized they have really done what they intend to do. It's difficult for you to differentiate the fake friend and a good friend. In fact, fake friends will appear like they're the best because of some of the things that they say or do, while they're still in search of getting whatever they want to get from you. A good friend might be not in a position of giving you anything in the first place. They can only give. They say a good woman can only give what she has. Sometimes they don't have much to give to you. But that does not mean that they are not loyal, that they don't really love you. And somebody pouring stuff does not necessarily mean that they love you. Because sometimes even those gifts can be poisonous. Have a great day. I love you. Your brother, Elijah Meru. Ciao. Africa Enyanya.